Determining the correct wire size for electrical applications, especially when dealing with long distances and multiple loads, requires careful consideration of several factors. These include the total current voltage, allowable voltage drop, and the resistance of the conductor material. In this case, we have a 150 amp 240 volt single-phase breaker feeding 3 RV pedestals located at varying distances from the power source. The total length of the run, considering the distances between the pedestals, is a crucial factor in calculating voltage drop. The first pedestal is 326 feet from the power source, the second is 170 feet from the first, and the third is 170 feet from the second. This gives us a total length of 326 feet plus 170 feet plus 170 feet, equaling 666 feet. Voltage drop is the reduction in voltage that occurs along a conductor due to its resistance. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, recommends limiting voltage drop to ensure proper equipment operation and prevent overheating of conductors. A common rule of thumb is to limit voltage drop to 3% for branch circuits and 5% for feeders. In this case, we will aim for a 3% voltage drop on the 240 volt circuit. To calculate the allowable voltage drop, we multiply the source voltage by the allowable percentage. So, 0.3 multiplied by 240 volts equals 7.2 volts. This means we want the voltage drop to be no more than 7.2 volts over the entire 666-foot run. Ohm's law is a fundamental principle in electrical engineering that relates voltage, current, and resistance. It states that voltage equals current multiplied by resistance, or volts equals amps times ohms. We can rearrange this formula to solve for resistance, which is voltage divided by current, or ohms equals volts divided by amps. Using Ohm's law, we can calculate the maximum allowable resistance for the entire circuit to maintain the voltage drop within the 3% limit. The allowable voltage drop is 7.2 volts and the total current is 150 amps. Dividing 7.2 volts by 150 amps, we get a maximum allowable resistance of 0.48 ohms for the entire 666-foot run. Next, we need to consult NEC tables to determine the resistance per unit length for different sizes of aluminum conductors. NEC Chapter 9, Table 8 provides the resistance values for conductors. We are looking for a conductor size that has a resistance close to or less than 0.48 ohms for the 666-foot run. According to NEC Chapter 9, Table 8, a 4/0 AWG aluminum conductor has a resistance of approximately 0.49 ohms per 1000 feet at 75 degrees Celsius. To find the actual resistance of a 4/0 AWG aluminum conductor for our 666-foot run, we can set up a proportion. If 1000 feet has a resistance of 0.49 ohms, then 666 feet has a resistance of X ohms. Solving for X, we get X equals 0.49 ohms divided by 1000 feet, then multiplied by 666 feet, which equals 0.32634 ohms. Since our calculated resistance for a single 4/0 AWG aluminum conductor, which is 0.32634 ohms for the 666-foot run, is less than the maximum allowable resistance of 0.48 ohms, it appears that a single 4/0 AWG aluminum conductor might be sufficient. However, we need to consider other factors such as ampacity and duration. The ampacity of a conductor is the maximum current it can carry safely without overheating. NEC Table 310.16 provides ampacity ratings for conductors based on their insulation type and temperature rating. For example, a 4/0 AWG aluminum conductor with THHN insulation rated at 75 degrees Celsius has an ampacity of 180 amps. Since our load is 150 amps, a single 4/0 AWG aluminum conductor would appear to be adequate based on ampacity alone. However, we must also consider voltage drop, which is our primary concern in this scenario. To address the voltage drop concerns, we can consider running conductors in parallel. This means using multiple conductors connected in parallel to carry the total current. When conductors are connected in parallel, the total resistance is reduced, which in turn reduces the voltage drop. To determine the number of 4/0 AWG aluminum conductors needed in parallel, we can divide the maximum allowable resistance for the entire circuit, which is 0.48 ohms, by the resistance of a single 4/0 AWG aluminum conductor for the 666-foot run, which is 0.32634 ohms. This gives us 0.48 ohms divided by 0.32634 ohms, which equals approximately 1.47. Since we cannot use a fraction of a conductor, we need to round up to the nearest whole number, which is 2. Therefore, we would need two 4/0 AWG aluminum conductors in parallel to meet the voltage drop requirements and ampacity requirements. The original recommendation from the engineer was to use three 4/0 AWG aluminum conductors in parallel. Based on our calculations, this is not necessary. Using two 4/0 AWG aluminum conductors in parallel will provide sufficient ampacity and keep the voltage drop within the acceptable limit of 3%. Running three conductors in parallel would further reduce the voltage drop, but it would also increase the cost and complexity of the installation without providing any significant benefit. In summary, to supply 150 amps at 240 volts to 3 RV pedestals with a total run length of 666 feet, two 4/0 AWG aluminum conductors in parallel are sufficient to meet the requirements of the NEC and maintain voltage drop within acceptable limits. This calculation is based on using NEC tables and Ohm's law to determine the appropriate conductor size and number of parallel conductors, ensuring a safe and efficient electrical installation. It is always crucial to consult the latest edition of the NEC and consult with a qualified electrical engineer or electrician to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Ignoring the NEC and relying on non-standard practices can lead to unsafe installations and potential hazards. The NEC provides guidelines for conductor sizing, ampacity, overcurrent protection, and grounding to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems. When selecting conductors, it's important to consider the insulation type and temperature rating. Conductors with higher temperature ratings can carry more current without overheating, but they may also be more expensive. The choice of insulation type depends on the specific application and environmental conditions. Factors such as moisture, temperature, and exposure to chemicals could affect the performance and lifespan of the insulation. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are essential for protecting conductors from overload and short-circuit conditions. The size of the overcurrent protection device must be matched to the ampacity of the conductor to prevent overheating and potential fires. Grounding is another critical aspect of electrical safety. A properly grounded system provides a low impedance path for fault currents, which helps to protect people and equipment from electrical shock. The NEC specifies requirements for grounding electrodes, grounding conductors, and bonding to ensure effective grounding. In addition to conductor sizing and protection, it's also important to consider the mechanical installation of conductors. Conductors must be properly supported and protected from physical damage. The NEC provides guidelines for conduit fill, cable support, and box fill to ensure that conductors are installed safely and correctly. When working with electrical systems, it's essential to follow all safety precautions and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE. This includes items such as safety glasses, gloves, and insulated tools. Never work on live circuits unless you are qualified and authorized to do so. Always de-energize circuits and verify that they are de-energized before working on them. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. Regular inspections and maintenance are also important for ensuring the long-term reliability and safety of electrical systems. Inspect conductors for signs of damage such as cracks, cuts, or discoloration. Check connections for tightness and corrosion. Test overcurrent protection devices to ensure that they are functioning properly. A well-maintained electrical system is a safe and reliable electrical system. When in doubt, always consult with a qualified electrical engineer or electrician. They can provide expert advice and guidance on all aspects of electrical design, installation, and maintenance. Attempting to perform electrical work without proper training and experience can be dangerous and can lead to serious injury or even death. Electrical codes and regulations are constantly evolving, so it's important to stay up to date on the latest requirements. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and it's essential to be familiar with the current edition. Continuing education courses and seminars can help you stay informed about the latest changes in the electrical industry. By following these guidelines and recommendations, you can ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems and protect people and equipment from electrical hazards. Remember that electrical safety is everyone's responsibility, and it's important to take it seriously. Always prioritize safety and follow all applicable codes and regulations. The calculation we performed highlights the importance of voltage drop calculations in electrical design. Ignoring voltage drop can lead to several problems, including reduced equipment performance, overheating of conductors, and increased energy consumption. When voltage drop is excessive, equipment may not operate at its rated voltage, which can reduce its efficiency and lifespan. Overheating of conductors can occur when the voltage drop causes the current to increase, which can damage the insulation and potentially cause a fire. Increased energy consumption can result from voltage drop because the equipment has to work harder to perform its intended function. Therefore, it's essential to carefully consider voltage drop when designing electrical systems, especially for long runs and high current applications. Using larger conductors or running conductors in parallel can help to reduce voltage drop and ensure proper equipment operation and safety. The NEC provides guidelines for calculating voltage drop and recommends limiting it to acceptable levels. Following these guidelines can help to prevent problems and ensure the reliability and efficiency of electrical systems. In addition to voltage drop, it's also important to consider other factors such as harmonics and power quality. Harmonics are distortions in the sinusoidal waveform of the voltage and current, which can be caused by nonlinear loads such as electronic devices and adjustable speed drives. Harmonics can cause a variety of problems, including overheating of transformers and conductors, malfunctioning of sensitive electronic equipment, and increased energy losses. Power quality refers to the overall quality of the electrical power supply, which includes factors such as voltage stability, frequency stability, and harmonic content. Poor power quality can cause a variety of problems, including equipment damage, process interruptions, and increased energy costs. Therefore, it's important to address power quality issues and mitigate harmonics to ensure the reliable and efficient operation of electrical systems. Techniques for mitigating harmonics include using harmonic filters, installing line reactors, and using power factor correction capacitors. These devices can help to reduce the harmonic content in the electrical system and improve power quality. Regular monitoring and analysis of power quality can help to identify and address potential problems before they cause significant damage or disruption. Power quality analyzers can be used to measure voltage, current, harmonics, and other power quality parameters. The data collected from these analyzers can be used to diagnose problems and implement appropriate solutions. In conclusion, electrical design involves a variety of considerations, including conductor sizing, voltage drop, overcurrent protection, grounding, harmonics, and power quality. Addressing these factors is essential for ensuring the safety, reliability, and efficiency of electrical systems. By following the guidelines and recommendations of the NEC and consulting with qualified electrical professionals, you can create electrical systems that meet the needs of your application and provide years of reliable service. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. Always prioritize safety and follow all applicable codes and regulations.